Opposing Gloves here, and today we're going to talk about dithering and the different kinds of dithering. Dithering is a super mega important thing, and you use it all the time. Even if you don't know about it, it's there, and it's saving your butt. So we just talked about correlated noise and uncorrelated noise, and that's really great. Good for you. Now, we know that this shrinks or increases our dynamic range. How do we guarantee that our noise floors are not correlated so that at the very minimum, we do not shrink our dynamic range? The answer is dithering. So we talked about in the binary video, sort of the idea that things are represented. So let's say that this is my binary for some value signal thing, and this is whatever it is. Well, the correlation between input signal and quantization error happens when this last bit is truncated according to your bit depth. So let's say our bit depth is really supposed to be this, but you truncate it to the correct word length. As a result, you now have this 1 here, and that's not actually the last bit. And these, when you do that, that will correlate your signal to the input value because your signal is moving up and down. And so this value being measured will be correlated to your signal. There's other things that can go on too, but that's the big one. So what do? Well, you just take it and you randomize it. You could be a 0 or 1 or whatever, and you do this on every single one of your samples. So you do that on the next one. You go do. Whoa, that's crazy binary right there. And let's say that was a 1. Well, we randomize it, ends up becoming 0. And we do that. We do this so that our noise floor is uncorrelated. That's all you need to do. And there are reasons for this, but dithering is the answer. That's called dithering. Now, there's this thing called shape dithering, though. What that does is a little bit different, and I'll give you one example of a kind of shaped dither. So you can have, let's pretend that, okay, let's open up an EQ here. That's not on my voice, just to be safe. So here we go. Pretend there's a curve right here. Looks like this. Well, our noise floor ideally is uniform all the way across the bottom. There are ways, though, to increase in a digital system to make the noise floor even lower in certain parts. How do you do this? Well, you take the quantization error between things and you add them to the next value, and it has to do with sample rate and things. And essentially, you can push all the error over to a part of the spectrum that we're less likely to hear, like the higher range where our hearing is not that great and not linear. And so we use shape dither to increase dynamic range and frequencies that we are more sensitive to. And that's one thing that low bit converters do great. They will shove a whole bunch of the noise floor out above the range of human hearing. However, this becomes very problematic on a number of systems where that all of a sudden influences a lot of things there's just problems with it. Okay, so we're not going to focus on that right now. It's great for other reasons. It's got its pros and cons. But anyways, the idea is, just so you know, we randomize the last bit to do dither. And this is important because every single step you do, everything you do, it's going to introduce another noise floor, digitally speaking. If you're moving things through processing where our range is not infinite, we're dealing with computers. Things have to be cut off at some point. And so randomizing that last bit allows us to maintain our noise floor as we move forward, thus maintaining our dynamic range. Now, this special dither, this shape dither, will increase it so that maybe our noise floor is higher over here. And all it did was take the error that was over here and they added it up. They added them so that it increases over here, but it's much lower over here. That's a special kind of dither. That's the dither. The issues with it are that's the dither you want as your final dither. You only want to do this dither once. Why? Well, if you do more processing, this stuff could end up being spread out over here for some reason, and now you've got a big issue. So you want this dither, you want the uniform noise floor until the very end when you want it to be sparkling for your audience. Then you'll use that kind of dither. Generally, your mastering engineer will apply this dither for you. You do not want to give the mastering engineer a signal that has been dithered. So if I come over here to File Export, and I look at this, I just click wave file or whatever. Yeah, sure, whatever. And we look over here. I see that I have this dithering option. I don't want to click that if that's not my final render. Now, I'll cover some of that stuff later. But what you need to know is that this dithering thing happens after pretty much every processing step ever because it's getting chopped. So we need to know that our noise floor is quantization error happens all the time, especially with the maths that are going on because of binary. We run into even more issues. And so we will, I don't know why I opened that. We will use dithering a lot, and it's going on behind every step. But that's the regular kind of dithering. That's the stuff that you want to happen. Then there's the special dithering that you see as options, and people think, oh, dithering, and they get really confused. So just so you know, that's what that is. If you have any questions, let me know. Subscribe, and have a blessed day.
Opposing gloves. Reversing.